Before you hear another word, you need to do one thing. Subscribe to this channel now. This is not optional. What you're about to discover will change how you see freedom, control, and your life itself. If you don't subscribe, you will miss truths they never want you to know. Truths that can set you free. Independence is an illusion carefully sold to you. You think you make choices, but every path has been designed, every option pre-approved. The trap is perfect because it convinces you that you are free, while invisibly dictating the boundaries of your life. The trap begins with subtle conditioning. From childhood, habits are taught, rituals are ingrained, and obedience is normalized. By the time you think you are making independent decisions, the blueprint for your life has already been drawn by unseen hands. Money, work, and social expectations are the scaffolding of this trap. Your debts, your job, your status, all of it reinforces compliance. Each obligation convinces you that independence is a goal, yet simultaneously ensures you are tethered to the system. Education appears to empower, but in reality, it often constrains. You are trained to perform, to follow instructions, to succeed within predefined frameworks. Critical thinking is tolerated only within limits, never to challenge the very system that controls opportunity itself. Even your desires are shaped. Advertising, media, and cultural narratives sculpt what you want, who you admire, and how you measure success. What feels like a personal dream is often someone else's design, a way to keep you productive, aspirational, and obedient. Freedom is reduced to the illusion of choice. You can choose between options that all lead to the same predetermined outcomes. Politics, consumerism, career paths. The corridors are many, but the doors all open to the same system. Fear is the silent enforcer. From subtle social pressures to orchestrated crises, fear ensures compliance. People cling to security, comfort, and routine, not because they are truly free, but because deviation feels too dangerous. Technology has become a cage disguised as convenience. Every click, every interaction, every digital habit is tracked, analyzed, and used to predict and influence your behavior. Autonomy becomes a mirage while your mind is slowly monitored and guided. Relationships are subtly influenced by control. Social norms, expectations, and public opinion shape how you behave, think, and interact. Even dissent can be penalized socially, creating invisible chains stronger than any physical restraint. Habits are the most effective prison. Once routine locks in, it shapes decisions automatically. The perfect trap is one you cannot see, built into the flow of your day, the rhythm of your life, the subconscious architecture of your mind. Even your health becomes a lever of compliance. Wellness trends, diet fads, and fitness regimes are marketed as empowerment, yet they often create dependence, distraction, and constant self-monitoring, all of which ensure the trap goes unnoticed. Debt is another invisible chain. Mortgages, loans, credit, they make you compliant, always looking for approval, always constrained. Your time, energy, and priorities are consumed servicing debts, leaving less space for true independence or critical thought. Cultural narratives reinforce the illusion. Heroes obey, villains rebel, and morality is packaged to validate authority. Stories teach you to admire the system, fear dissent, and accept your role within the grand script of compliance. Legal systems feel protective, but they are selective. Laws are written, enforced, and interpreted to preserve the structure that benefits those in control. Freedom becomes conditional, granted only where it poses no threat to power. Even crises are designed to keep you compliant. Emergencies, whether natural or manufactured, ensure populations seek direction, cling to authority, and accept temporary measures that often become permanent restrictions. Networks of influence are invisible. Public, private, and corporate entities coordinate to shape behavior, messaging, and opportunity. What appears chaotic is actually meticulously orchestrated to prevent escape from the trap. Your work is a tool of control. Labor is framed as independence, entrepreneurship as freedom. Yet every task, schedule, and expectation is aligned with someone else's system. Independence is a mirage. Productivity is your leash. Education, media, and technology collaborate to keep critical awareness at bay. Each teaches you to navigate the system skillfully, not to dismantle it. The trap is hidden beneath the skills you accumulate, the knowledge you gain, and the habits you form. Your social life is also shaped. Peer pressure, online metrics, and cultural approval regulate your choices. Compliance is rewarded socially, rebellion is punished subtly, and most never notice the walls closing around them. Even morality is curated. Ethics are presented in ways that support obedience to the system. Deviating from the rules feels wrong, shameful, or dangerous, reinforcing the trap from within your own conscience. Every consumer decision is another link in the chain. You are told that consumption is freedom, but in reality, it strengthens the network controlling your behavior, your time, and your attention. Independence is monetized and exploited. Mental health is manipulated. Anxiety, stress, and uncertainty are amplified selectively. Fear ensures dependency on guidance, therapy, and institutions. People internalize control and participate in their own subjugation willingly. Media distractions ensure your focus never reaches the invisible boundaries. Entertainment, social drama, and viral spectacle consume attention while the trap expands unnoticed. If you are always reacting, you are never questioning. Even political participation is circumscribed. Voting, activism, and advocacy are packaged as empowerment. Yet choices are curated and outcomes predictable. The game feels participatory while the system remains untouched. Habituation masks the trap. Daily routines, societal expectations, and ritualized behaviors cultivate acceptance. People adapt to confinement without noticing it, embracing the very chains that limit them. Yet, awareness is the first fracture. Once you notice the trap, the illusion wavers. Understanding how your choices are manipulated creates a space where real freedom can begin. This is why you need to stay vigilant. Question every assumption, every habit, every narrative. Independence is not given. It is reclaimed through insight, courage, and refusal to play their game blindly. Mapping the trap is the first act of liberation. Awareness alone shifts power. Once the mechanism is visible, the invisible walls start to crack, and freedom becomes a possibility rather than a dream. The choice is yours. Accept comfort at the cost of true autonomy, or begin to see, understand, and eventually escape the trap. Those who awaken now take the first step toward reclaiming their independence. The trap is not just external. It lives inside your mind. Beliefs, habits, and expectations have been programmed to mimic freedom while quietly ensuring obedience. The cage feels like comfort, and most never question its walls. Even resistance is anticipated. Systems of power absorb dissent effortlessly. Movements are co-opted, protests commodified, and radical voices marketed as entertainment. Energy is redirected, rebellion neutralized before it can threaten the structure. The perfect trap thrives on distraction. Social media, news cycles, and viral spectacles keep you busy, reactive, and emotionally engaged with illusions, while the real levers of control remain invisible. Attention is the currency of manipulation. Your relationships are shaped subtly. Social norms, peer approval, and cultural expectations reinforce compliance. Independence becomes socially costly. because deviation brings isolation, judgment, or ridicule. The trap is reinforced by those you trust most. Even your goals are guided. Career paths, ambitions, and desires are framed to serve the system. What feels like self-actualization often reproduces the very structure you imagine you are escaping. Your dreams have been curated. Fear is the most effective lubricant for compliance. Fear of failure, poverty, illness, or social rejection keeps populations obedient. The system manufactures crises when necessary, ensuring dependence on authority. Fear is the invisible leash. Debt is another key lever. Financial obligations bind you subtly but permanently. Every loan, every bill, every payment reinforces conformity, ensuring that independence remains a distant fantasy while survival consumes your energy. The media is an accomplice. Stories, narratives, and symbols shape perception. What you see, what you value, and what you fear are curated to maintain the illusion of freedom while reinforcing dependence on authority. Even convenience is a trap. Technology, services, and infrastructure are designed to streamline life but also collect data, influence decisions, and shape behavior. Every shortcut comes with invisible strings attached. Habits are the silent chains. Daily routines and subconscious behaviors reinforce compliance, making the invisible walls harder to perceive. People embrace the very limits that contain them. Work, framed as autonomy or ambition, often functions as a lever of control. Productivity is prioritized over insight. Every task, schedule, and expectation aligns with someone else's system, keeping independence out of reach. Cultural narratives are used to normalize submission. Stories, rituals, and traditions teach obedience while punishing deviation subtly. The trap is reinforced by identity, morality, and collective memory. Education teaches skill without sovereignty. Knowledge is fragmented, specialized, and curated to produce individuals who can operate within the system, not challenge it. The system thrives by training competent, compliant citizens. Even leisure is engineered. Entertainment saturates the mind with familiar patterns, shaping emotional and moral landscapes. It conditions you to accept control as normal, diverting energy from critical thought. Social media quantifies influence. Metrics, likes, and validation reinforce behavior aligned with authority while discouraging authentic or independent thought. Popularity becomes a mechanism of subtle governance. Law feels protective but enforces boundaries selectively. Rules are structured to safeguard the system, not freedom. Compliance is rewarded. Rebellion is penalized, often invisibly but effectively. Psychology is weaponized. Anxiety, uncertainty, and obsession with self-improvement are amplified. Dependence on guidance, therapy, and authority grows, reinforcing the trap from within. Even physical space is designed for control. Urban planning, traffic systems, and workspaces guide movement, behavior, and focus. The invisible architecture ensures predictability and compliance. Economics reinforces conformity. Scarcity, competition, and consumption are orchestrated to maintain dependence, distract from the invisible chains, and normalize inequality. Networks of power are hidden. Public, private, and corporate alliances coordinate influence, messaging, and outcomes beyond the perception of ordinary citizens. What seems spontaneous is often engineered. Technology predicts and nudges. Algorithms anticipate behavior, shape decisions, and reinforce routines, ensuring that your independence is gradually eroded without your awareness. Freedom is continuously redefined. What feels like liberty is often conditioned, regulated, and supervised. True autonomy is a dangerous illusion to those in control, and the system ensures you rarely experience it. Even morality is directed. Ethics, norms, and social standards are crafted to maintain obedience. Deviating from prescribed behavior triggers guilt, shame, or social exclusion. You internalize your own chains. Political participation is controlled. Voting, advocacy, and activism are framed as influence, but real power is curated and outcomes remain predictable. The illusion of impact preserves the trap. The trap absorbs energy, obedience, and dissent, converting it into stability. Every habit, expectation, and preference is aligned to prevent escape, making the system resilient, adaptive, and invisible. Yet awareness weakens the trap. Seeing the walls, the chains, and the scripts cracks the illusion. Insight spreads faster than bricks, and once perception shifts, the cage begins to tremble. Every act of questioning weakens the structure. Refusal, skepticism, and critical thought erode obedience. What seems like small resistance accumulates into potential liberation. The ultimate leverage is consciousness. Minds that refuse to accept the illusion are the only force capable of dismantling the perfect trap. Awakening is far more dangerous to power than rebellion, violence, or protest. Now you have a choice. Will you retreat into comfort, or will you step into awareness, into insight, into the possibility of independence? Every decision matters because the trap only persists when consent continues silently. If you are ready to reclaim your independence, then do not walk this path alone. Subscribe to this channel now and join those who refuse to live in invisible chains. Your awareness becomes strength. The more who awaken, the faster the system falters. Power cannot survive scrutiny, rebellion, or collective insight. The trap exists only as long as the illusion continues. Break it. Start now.